Someone on your team is working on something. They reach a point where they need to make a decision, a small one, well within their role, but they are not sure what you would want them to do. They're not sure what the right answer is because that kind of thing has never been written down. So they wait, or they guess, or they send you a message asking you to confirm something. If you are honest, you could have told them 6 months ago. That is not a people problem. It is not a communication problem. It is not a management problem. It is a clarity problem, and specifically, it is an operational clarity problem. In the last video, we looked at founder dependency, the structural condition in which a business cannot fully function without the founder's active daily involvement. And I ended that video with a question. Not why can I not let go, but what does this structure need in order to function without me? Operational clarity is the first structural answer to that question. If you are watching this without video 7 as context, the short version is this. Founder dependency means the business runs through the founder. Operational clarity is the first step in changing that, by making the business understandable to others, not just the founder. So what is operational clarity? It is the founder understanding the business better. Most founders understand their business very well. They know the priorities, they know the processes, they know what good work looks like. Operational clarity is making the business understandable to others. It means that the business priorities, processes, and standards are documented, communicated, and accessible so that people other than the founder can act on them reliably and independently. Not held in the founder's head, not dependent on the founder's presence to be enacted, available in a form that others can find, read, and understand, and use. That is a structural property of the business, and it is one that most founder-led businesses do not yet have, not because the clarity does not exist, but because it has never been externalized. Operational clarity has 3 components. Documented priorities, the business's priorities. What matters most, in what order and why, exists somewhere that is not the founder's head. When a team member faces a choice between 2 things competing for their time, they can answer the question without asking the founder. When a new project comes in and the team needs to decide what to defer, they can make that decision confidently. Documented priorities are what allow the business to allocate effort correctly when the founder is not in the room. Defined processes, the way the work gets done, how the service is delivered, how a client is onboarded, how a proposal is structured, how a problem is escalated, is documented, consistent and teachable, not reinvented each time, not carried in individuals' heads, written down in a form that a new person can follow and that an experienced person can reference when they are unsure. Defined processes are what allow quality to be maintained without the founder being the quality filter. Communicated standards. What good looks like and how the team knows they have reached it. Not just doing the work, but doing it to a level that the business has defined and the team understands. Communicated standards are what allow the team to self-assess their work honestly, without needing the founder to confirm that it is acceptable. Here is what's important as a distinction. In most founder-led businesses, all 3 components of operational clarity exist. The founder knows the priorities, they follow the processes or improvise them confidently. They hold the standards through personal involvement in the work, but the clarity is founder held. It lives in the founder's head. is enacted through the founder's presence and is communicated through the founder's direct involvement in decisions and delivery. Business-held clarity is when these same three things, priorities, processes, standards, are documented, accessible, and operational without the founder's involvement. The business knows what to do. The team can act. The founder's presence is not the mechanism through which clarity is maintained. The work of operational clarity is not creating something new. It is transferring what already exists in the founder's working knowledge into a form that the business can hold and use independently. Here's what absent operational clarity produces, not as a catastrophe, but as quiet compounding cost. Decisions wait, not because the team is incapable, but because the priorities are not documented clearly enough for them to make the call with confidence. Every deferred decision is a small drain on momentum. Rework. Delivery that has to be done again because the standard was not clearly communicated or was communicated differently by different people. Rework is one of the most expensive, invisible costs in a founder-led business because it is rarely tracked as a consequence of unclear standards. Slow onboarding. New people who take 3 months to reach useful output, not because they are not capable, but because they are learning by observation rather than by documented process. Every month of slow onboarding is a month of founder energy spent on supervision rather than development. Inconsistent client experience. Delivery that varies depending on who is involved, how experienced they are, and whether the founder is paying attention. The standard is held in the founder's judgment, not in the process, and without the founder's judgment, the standard drifts. These are the structural outputs of founder-led clarity, or should I say founder-held clarity. They're not random problems, they are predictable consequences of a business that has not yet externalized what the founder knows. In most founder-led businesses, operational clarity was never explicitly built. It accreted. The founder learned the business by doing it. The priorities were understood because the founder set them. The processes were followed because the founder developed them. The standards were maintained because the founder upheld them personally. None of this was a mistake. It is how businesses start and how they grow through their early stages. The founder's knowledge is the business's operating system, and it works until the business needs to run independently of that operating system. The work of operational clarity is not fixing a problem. It is doing something that was never needed before. Externalizing the operating system. Taking what exists in the founder's head, making it available to the business in a form that does not require the founder to be present in order for it to function. That work is deliberate and it takes time, but it is specific and it is doable. When operational clarity exists as a business property, not founder property, the structural consequences are specific. The team can act with confidence, not because they are asking the founder for permission, but because the priorities, processes, and standards exist in a form they can access and apply independently. Decisions get made at the right level. The founder stops being the approval mechanism for things that should not require approval. Quality is maintained without founder involvement. The standard is held in the document process, not in the founder's judgment. When the founder steps back from a piece of work or of delivery, the standard does not drop because the process carries it. New people reach useful output faster, onboarding to a documented standard that takes weeks, not months. The new person learns the business's way of working, not the founder's personal way of working, and the difference matters when the founder is not available to shadow. The business becomes less founder dependent across all three dimensions we covered in video 7. decisions, delivery, and relationships. Clarity is the structural foundation that makes each of those dimensions less reliant on the founder's active presence. And it opens the question that video 9 addresses. Operational clarity makes business understandable. Operational visibility makes it observable. Knowing what to do is the first part. Being able to see whether it is being done at the right standard in the right way is the second. To summarize, operational clarity is the condition in which businesses' priorities, processes, and standards are documented, communicated, and accessible, so that people other than the founder can act on them reliably and independently. It is a business property, not a founder property. In most founder-led businesses, clarity exists, but it is founder-held. It lives in the founder's head and is enacted through the founder's presence. The work of operational clarity is externalizing what already exists, not creating something new. When operational clarity exists as a business property, the team can act independently, quality is held in the process, onboarding is faster, and founder dependency reduces across all three dimensions. It is the first structural response to the question, what does this business need to function without me? In video 9, we look at operational visibility, which is the second part of the same problem. Clarity tells the business what to do. Visibility lets you see whether it's being done. You can have excellent documented priorities, processes, and standards and still not know in real time whether they're being followed, where they are breaking down, and what needs attention. This is what operational visibility addresses, and it is the subject of the next video.